persons with children and you're concerned whether or not you're able to take those persons with you at the time of transitioning, yes, you can. But my advice on that is when it comes on to, the orientation phase or the first few months of being in the state as an international nurse, one thing you don't want is distraction. And I feel as though if you have kids with you at that time, then you're not going to be able to do certain things, get certain things done in a timely manner. And especially with the fact that, with childcare, it is so expensive, you have to take into consideration that. Remember, when you get here to the state, you're not earning big money as a registered nurse. You're working decent amount of money, but just think of it, you're working almost the salary of a new grad, or sometimes a little bit less than, for a certain time period. So you have to take into consideration that the amount of money that you'll be working is not adequate. And depending on the kind of contract that you sign, if it is one that is based on hours or if it is one that is based on years, then you have to take into consideration that if you're not doing any overtime to make any money, to pay those extra bills for childcare services and all, then you're gonna be in a little bit of a deficit. You also have to take into consideration that it's not like in your own country where you have persons available, you have your neighbors available who you can go to and say, hey, can you watch my kids for today? Or, drop them off at the home and somebody will keep an eye on them. No. Sometimes you might be in an apartment and you don't even know who your neighbor is. That's how bad it is. So I would highly encourage persons, if you can have your children wait in the country that you're from for a little bit, finish school, or just have them stay there until you are settled in. You get your own apartment and all, and you're making a little bit more money, then you can go ahead and get them here. But if you don't have any other option, then that's fine. If you have a husband who is going to be able to stay at home because it will be a little bit more feasible for you, then that's another option. But you also have to take into consideration that when you get here, the different shifts that you have to work is going to be a problem. Because if they feel as though you need to go on night shift, you have to work night shift. And remember, you don't really have that much of a control over that because you're on a contract. And a lot of times these companies are recruiting nurses to fill the gap for especially night shift in those rural communities. So there are so many factors that you have to think about that will be at play with you moving to the States here. And when you have children as well, it makes it a little bit difficult because you have to think about the school zone. If you don't have a decent car, then you have to think about getting a bigger size vehicle depending on the amount of kids you have. You have to think about dropping off, picking up. There are so many things that comes on with the responsibility of having your kids here. So as I say, if you can wait a few months, 2-3 months is perfect, but at the same time you still need a little bit more time. You don't have to rush and bring them here at the time when you're transitioning. Give yourself some time to build, get a decent apartment, get a decent car, sort out a community that definitely you'll be living there for a little bit, and the school zone is going to be good. All of that research that you need to put into place to make sure that wherever you land for your orientation, you can always stay there, and just make sure that your kids are in a good school zone and you have everything at your fingertips sometimes to make your life a little bit easier with this transitioning process. Because as I say, cultural transitioning, it's very hard, it's very difficult, and when you have certain things that are preventing you from doing certain things, you're going to find yourself just feeling miserable. You're just going to find yourselves, always either running behind the clock, always being late, not making enough money because you have to be putting your kids first, and you don't want it to be a case where you leave your kids at home, even though in your country you might find that you might leave a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old because you feel as though they're a big, a child that can take care of themselves, because you have a neighbor, you have a grandmother who is able to kind of give a listening ear over to your house or something like that. No, that's a no-no here in the state. You can run the risk, but when you run the risk, if you want somebody to see that is happening, they can call police and they come and take away your kids. And you don't want it to be a case where you come to the States here for the American dream, quote unquote, or you come here for different opportunities and some simple things that we could have dealt with in a little bit of a organized manner, in terms of making sure we're situated properly in a community, we get all the things in place to facilitate our family here. If we don't do those things, you'll find yourself either in a prison, going in prison back way because somebody called somebody on you and your household. So definitely think about all of those things. I know it's a lot, but you have to make sure that you put the things in place. You have to plan accordingly. Do not rush and grab your kids and come up here and then you're struggling to find persons to go ahead and watch your kids. Because as I say, a lot of times when you get transitioned to the States here, you're not going to the uptown places, you're going to the downtown places, you're going to the rural communities. And those places are very hard to source, persons to come and watch your kids. And even if you find somebody that is gonna help out with watching your kids, babysitting as we call it, then definitely it's gonna cost your arm and a leg. You understand? Especially if you have 1, 2, 3. Because getting somebody to stay with one kid per month can run you probably like almost $2,000. You understand? Depending on the location that you're in. I hear some people talk about their kids father or their husband stay home because the amount of money that they'll be working make no sense. So it's cheaper for them to stay home with the 3 kids and take care of them, send them to school, and then they go and pick up the wives. So you have to put things in place and look at all of those things. But I would advise you come to the state first, and then you can go back, pick up your kids and come back to the States with them, and then hopefully that transitioning is a little bit better. But I do hope that this helps with answering that question. I know somebody had asked it, about if whether or not it's okay to go ahead and transition with your kids. Yes, it's okay to go ahead and transition with your kids. Think about all the different things that you have to get situated at the time when you get here to the state, and in order to limit, and prevent any form of chaos, then you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. Let them stay in your country if you can, and then give yourself a little time to get situated, get your apartment, locate a school for them. All of those things that will make your transition a little bit better. I do hope that this answers your question, and if you have any more questions, just go ahead and put them in the comment box below and I will go ahead and answer them. Until then, I will see you in the next video. But to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube page at ThinkNursing, and go ahead and follow me here on TikTok at ThinkNursing1. You can also go ahead and repost the video, like, comment, and favorite, as well as repost. I think I said that already, but anyways, I will see you in the next video. Bye.